All right, good morning. Good morning. A little late, but I'm here. Just finished up some high impact news. And it's 9:02, so I'm looking to start trading again. So, thus far this morning, you can see the P&L. I'm just down a little bit. I took two trades. The first trade I was a little iffy about, and it did end up losing. I will show you guys that when the market slows down a little bit. The second trade I won pretty quickly, actually, and the market was moving so fast when it hit my limit entry order that I got filled way below. I was in for a buy. I got filled way below where my actual entry was. Um, so that's where we're at the current moment. Overall bias right now is an uptrend. It just pushed off of my major level down here. And the only reason I didn't get into that buy is just because of the way it pushed off of my minor level first. And I would have ended up breaking even at the VWAP anyway. My entry would have been here, broken even here, and then it just went up to hit my take profit. So that's what typically happens. When it bounces off of my minor level first, my minor level was up here, came down, hit the major level, and went up. So see what we can do. I did end up spending most of yesterday back testing after I ran a bunch of errands, just because for me, I never feel like my strategy is exactly where I want it to be. I'm a perfectionist, and I know that trading is nothing that can ever be perfect. However, if I consistently see a certain pattern that I believe can the losses can be mitigated, I'm going to backtest to see. And so with the 5 losses that I had yesterday, I think I won 3, lost 5, broke even on 5. 4 of those 5 losses could have been mitigated. So for me, as long as days where I lose more than I would like, as long as I can learn from it, that's what matters most to me. I'm going to break even because I can't tell if my exit parameter painted or not. The bars painted way too fast. That probably would have hit my take profit, but well. Okay, I'm glad I got out because you could see it came pretty close to my take profit and reversed. Getting in for another buy at 23.75. At the moment I am. That might change if it goes down to 12.25. And it just did. So anyway, yeah, for me, as long as the days where I'm losing more than I would like to, there's some kind of a lesson in it for me for the future. That's what I care most about. And I talked about that at the end of the session last night. So, or yesterday. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a weekly recap or not. I do plan to start doing daily recaps next week, and that's probably when I'll do a weekly recap as well. I might do like a very short one at the end of today's session. um we'll see, but yeah, as long as I'm learning from it, I'm cool. two of those losses that happened, I think it was like one loss, one break even, another loss was like the last three trades that I took yesterday. I don't know why I keep wanting to say last night. And I kind of noticed a pattern when it happens, but then I was like, I don't know. So then when the second loss happened, I'm like, all right, now I think this is something that I need to look at. Because sometimes when you back test, you have a lot of data that you're going through, especially if you have a lot of different setups. So I didn't have enough data for that particular setup. I had enough, but not that particular pattern for that setup. And so once I spent time yesterday going through it a little bit more, I was like, now it all makes sense. We already touched that one, so I'm going to leave that one alone. And I think oh, well, yeah. So I did just miss this trade, but I would have gotten out at break even right there. This is a new divergence setup that I back tested, I think, after Tuesday session, I think, maybe. Um, so I'm just getting used to actually seeing the pattern happen, even though I was seeing it before, and that's why I back tested it to begin with. Seeing it live in action, I just missed it that time, but that's okay. That would have just been a break even anyway. I did go ahead and double the contracts on this fourth account again because it either needs to be back to the starting balance with a full $1,500 drawdown or failed by the end of the session today. So, depending on where it is at 11 o'clock when I get off the charts, if it is not at the $1,500 full threshold and the $25,000 balance, I'm just going to put a whole bunch of contracts in and make it go the opposite way and purposely bomb it because that's just what I do. When the renewal is coming up, that's the only thing that makes sense. Why renew, why have the eval renew and it's not at the initial balance and trailing drawdown? So that's what I plan to do. So we'll see. So since the market opened, I've been in a overall buy or uptrend bias. I am going to get into a buy around 27. Oh, wait. No, wait a minute. I needed to come down. Okay. Yes, no, maybe so. All right. 24, 25 would be the entry if I get in here for the buy. Who knows? The VWAP might actually keep it pushing down. But yeah, there's just certain patterns that I've been noticing for the last 2 weeks that I've been trading this way. I've been trading this way for a while, but not on this particular bar size. So things happen a little bit differently on this bar size. Just like if you go from a 5-minute chart to a 30-minute chart, things look different. Um, and certain patterns that might be valid on the 5-minute aren't on a 30-minute and vice versa. So the biggest thing for me is just being able to notice the patterns that I'm seeing consistently. As much as people, say the Nasdaq is a crack baby, a crackhead, and it just moves however it wants to, and there's no structure and all this other stuff. I see structure, I see consistent patterns. But also it might be because of the bar type that I'm on. I just want to master this one instrument and keep it moving. I don't want to have to learn different instruments and how they move at different parts of the day, and it's just not what I want. All right, let's see what happens here. All right. Pretty clean trade. My entry was actually supposed to be 24.25, but I got filled at 23.50. So technically, if I would have gotten filled where I was supposed to, I would still be in the trade at this moment. All right, now it would have hit take profit. So even with the first trade being a little iffy, we're back to being positive for today. I am not the biggest fan of this buy here unless it comes down to about 1975 maybe. I have a buy setting up, but I don't trust it. Just because my minor level is still downtrend bias, the major and mid levels are both uptrend bias. The only reason I took the buy here is because this is where my mid level was, and it's an overall uptrend bias. So I would need to pull back to this level all the way, which it hasn't yet. It's at 2025. That would be the only reason I would feel comfortable going ahead and taking the buy right now. It pulled back to my minor level here, but the minor level is a downtrend, so it doesn't matter. I don't trade with a bunch of indicators. Everything I use is literally just showing me different levels, basically. So, like, all right, so we're back at the mid level. However, I don't want it to wick off the VWAP. I want it to be more of like a body close over the VWAP, which it is at now. So let's see what happens. So my buy entry right now is at 27.25, which if the market moves down, my entry is as well. Take that off for just a second. If this entry hits while I'm looking at something, I'm okay with that. Entries at 26.75. But it looks like it wants to hold below the VWAP though. I want to see. Yeah. I'm gonna say in it. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but kind of is what it is. If not, I do have a valid sell entry at 18.25 if this doesn't hold. Yeah, that's all right. And I'm trying to break even. That's gonna piss me off if that doesn't hit my break even, because I hit the button a long time ago. It might push back up from here, and that's why I hate the lag that sometimes happens on Rhythmic. That's very irritating, because that definitely should have hit my break even just now. All right, we just did still, but that's so irritating. All right, just a lot of consolidation right now at that VWAP level. Yep. It's to be expected. All right, so if we pull back far enough, I will get into a divergence buy. I kind of had a feeling that, and it's always I don't know what it is about the time of 919, but 919 is such a, I need to really start paying attention to that time, because there's a lot of trades that I take at 919, and for whatever reason, they lose a lot. I don't know what it is about that time. Both of these trades right here were at 919, both of them. I want to look at something. Oh wait, that's fine. All right, let's do this. I'm looking at some of my back testing docs. Uh-oh. Cancel. You know what? because I want to see. Oh wait, not that color. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins, 2 losses. Wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 wins. 1, 2, 2 losses. My major level is here. Looking for a divergence play, divergence buy. However, I need it to come down lower if it's going to be valid. I don't want to close back above the major level. Excuse me. That literally almost closed. I need it to come down a bit further because what I don't want is to get into the buy and then immediately have to close it because the entry would be too close to my major level. So good morning. Not what's the strategy. Just some divergence and some pullbacks. Let me see something. One, two, three. Save this. Trying to get my account balances at least back to the initial balances. That would be nice. But we'll see. We will see. All right. This buy just was not valid for me. I would have actually broken even either way, just because my exit parameter did show up on the 4th bar, which is when it came back to hit my break even. So just trying to see what it's going to do. If it's going to push up from my major level and continue up, or if it's going to start trading below it and change the overall trend. Got like an hour and a half left in the session, so we'll see. We will see. Oh, I forgot I had my tea. Let me see something. I'm basically scalping. I always do. I only scalp the Nasdaq. I don't look at anything else for correlation. I don't trade any other instruments. At some point in the past, especially like earlier this year, I was trading the Nasdaq, the ES, the Russell, the Dow, I think gold and crude oil. I wasn't trading the way I am now, so it was a lot easier for me to kind of keep up with all the different instruments. But the reality is, I know I should have. I should have, but for me, if it doesn't hit my exact parameters, I'm okay with missing out. But you see, I had the entry down here. I did. I just didn't want it to close back above my major level, and it did. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I've learned a lot over the last like week and a half of me trading this way. The reality is I've been trading the exact same way for the most part since like January. I've been trading off and on for like 9 years, but because I had businesses and I had a nursing career, whenever trading would irritate me, I would just quit for like 9 months or 12 months and sometimes like a year and a half. I've traded Forex, I've traded futures, I've traded binary options on Nadex. Futures has always been what I personally prefer. I've taken different courses, I've tried hundreds of strategies, and I always felt like I never really liked what I learned because it didn't allow me to trade like a robot. My overall goal has been to create a strategy where I can trade like a robot. I don't allow my emotions to get into it, to deter me from getting in or out of a trade. That's just not what I like. Like there's been different strategies that I've tried that have been pretty decent, but I have to be on the charts all day, or it's a better trade, a better strategy during London session, like just different things that I didn't want to have to do. At one point, I was literally trading the entire time the market was open, from the time it opened at 5 p.m. to the time it closed. And I would have different alerts and things, so I wasn't literally sitting on the charts all day, but it just wasn't worth it for me personally. And then there's strategies out there where they're pretty sound strategies, but when you have 100 people looking at the charts and everybody's saying different things, like for instance, the two-legged pullback that a lot of people like, I personally hate it, but there's a Facebook group that I'm in, and every day someone's posting a trade and they're like, how come I lost this one? And everybody's commenting different reasons. I don't want that, because for me, if I ever get, well, no, when I get to the point where I want to be and become a successful trader, if I decide to teach, I want to have a strategy where everyone's looking at the chart, the same exact chart, and everybody made the same exact decision to take the trade or sit out of it. That's my goal. I hate the two-legged pullbacks. I just do. I have a friend that like swore by it, and because of that, I wanted to learn it. And so I ended up purchasing I think it's called the price action trading strategy indicator from Trade Evals. It's the PATS indicator. And I only bought it because for me, the way I was trying to learn how to count the legs and stuff, it just didn't resonate. And I'm a pretty smart person, but it's like, well, how come that wasn't a leg to you, but it was a leg to me? You know what I mean? So I went ahead and I purchased the indicator. because it made it a lot easier to enter and exit. At that time, I didn't know about the Ninja Trader ecosystem because there's a couple of free indicators in that ecosystem that allow you to enter and exit the way that the Trade Devils one does. And I just wasn't for it. I don't like super negative risk to reward ratios. That's another problem that I have with mainly scalping strategies. You know, these people who are doing a 3 to 1. That's the other thing. I don't know why risk to reward numbers have been transposed now. In all my years of trading, it's always been risk first, reward second. But for some reason nowadays, when people say 3 to 1, they actually mean a 1 to 3. But I literally mean people who will risk 15 ticks to make 5. I can't. I can't. And a lot of times with the two-legged pullback, you know, your risk can be like 16 ticks and you're going for 4. See, you bought it too. And you know what? I won't even say that we were bamboozled by Trade Devils because it's not their fault. They literally just created an indicator to help people who like to trade that strategy. Trade Devils actually has some pretty decent indicators. I've purchased a few. I have that one, and I have the Trend Magic, I think is what it's called. I don't use either one. At one point, like a couple of months ago, I was still using the Trend Magic, but I don't anymore. I don't really use very many indicators, honestly, anymore. I just have the order flow VWAP, the prior day OHLC, the current day OHL. I do like the Super Pivot by Ninja, but I only use the mid level. I don't use all the other levels on it. I used to, but now I don't really have a need for it because whether I'm at a pivot level or not, if my strategy's set up, I'm gonna take it. um, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is like my trade recorder for the journal, and I use an online journal, and it's the best online journal there is, but he is not taking any more customers. He stopped taking customers this summer, and I absolutely hate that because it's only $35 a month and it's unlimited accounts and unlimited trades. And it auto imports. It attaches a screenshot of your trade on entry and exit. It takes a screenshot both times and it attaches it to the journal entry. It is the best. And he does not take customers anymore because he actually makes indicators for Trade Devils, and that's where all of his focus is. So that sucks because I referred a lot of people to him since this summer, and everybody kept coming back like, the button doesn't work to sign up. The button doesn't work. And I'm like, what? So finally, like a couple of weeks ago, I ended up emailing Trade Devils because somewhere on the journal's website, I think like in the about section or something, I think I saw it mentioned that he made indicators for Trade Devils. So I reached out to them like, hey, I emailed the guy who, you know, owns the journal software. I saw that he is affiliated with you guys. Can you please reach out to him and ask him why his button isn't working to sign up with the trading journal? I've referred people, he's missing out on money, and they came back and said, hey, we talked to him and he's not focused on that business anymore. And I'm like, what? But hey, it is what it is. People have their thing, and clearly the indicator business is what he likes most. But Trade Devils, they have some decent indicators. I had told myself that if I didn't create something that I liked within like 18 months, that I would look into one of their auto traders or whatever. But pretty sure I have what I want at this point. It's just a matter of me making the last little final tweaks, which I think is probably going to take like another 2 weeks of me just seeing things. Especially with the slower market, it's so much easier to see certain patterns because it's like watching paint dry every day recently. But we did get way more volume yesterday, and even today. The volume I don't think is as high today as it was yesterday, though. I think by the time I stopped trading at 11 o'clock yesterday morning, the volume was like 375,000, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's see. Change only. All right, so I am looking to get into a buy around 33.25. There was a change of structure, which probably can't be seen right now, but we kind of went from a lower low to a higher high and now a higher low. My entry has moved, and if it comes down too far, all right, scratch the buy. Scratch the buy. We had a pretty big push off of this VWAP up here, as you can see. Close 1250. And I wouldn't have gotten into that one. Let's see if we start getting some movement again. I got about an hour and 20 minutes. So. And so far, let's see. All right. So I was initially looking to get into a sell. I'm not anymore. We pushed too far off of my major level down here. What I'm hoping is we go from this higher low to the lower high to another higher low. If so, I will get into the buy. Uh-oh, I accidentally moved that. And I'm about $550 away. In this third account, I need this to be up about $500 by 11 o'clock in order for me to keep the account. Otherwise, as soon as I end the stream, I'm going to bomb it. Just because it resets on Monday. And then this account will be added back in. So my strategy for Evals, which I have not seen anyone else do this, I typically see people mass buy on the 90% or 80% sales. And when they fail the accounts, they cancel them. Yes. Let's see. You got 10 points on that pullback? Yeah, that was a nice pullback. Real nice pullback. It was a pretty deep pullback, but it was nice though. But yeah, so my strategy for evals. So I have been focused on trading since like November, December of last year. Okay. I have come close a couple of times to passing, and every time I did, I just purposely failed the account because I felt like my strategy was not where I wanted it to be. I feel like a lot of people gamble when it comes to prop firms, and hey, to each their own. Everybody's their own person, but I'm looking to master this and create something on cement and not quicksand. So what I did basically, this fifth account shouldn't even really be there, but I wanted another $50,000 account and I didn't want to cancel the other one, so that's whatever. So just looking at the first four, my renewals are the 1st, the 9th, the 17th, and like the 25th. What I basically wanted was every eval's renewal to be a week away from each other. So once it renews, I do not trade it the first week after renewal. I'll trade it the following week. So I basically have 3 weeks to either pass or fail it. Okay. And I did that because there's no point in just having all of these evals around the same date. Now all of your renewals are coming around the same time. So for me, I have a fresh new eval every single Monday. I have not paid for a reset since I found out in like February that they reset automatically when you pay the renewal fee. So some people, hey, my renewal is coming up, let's just YOLO it and see if I can pass it. Well, I think that that's a waste of money, because if you didn't pass it in a month, why would you pass it in a day, pay to convert it to a PA, and lose the PA because your strategy isn't where it needed to be? Otherwise, you wouldn't have had to YOLO on the last couple of days to pass it. You know, I don't do that. That's just not my thing. So for the last year, I think all of these are about $30. So I've just spent about $120 a month, you know, doing what I needed to do to get my strategy where I wanted it to be. Now, for some people, it's like, hey, you could do that on Sim. Yeah, you could. However, that's not how my brain works. And also, I wanted to trade against the prop firm's rules. Yes, there are probably some third party indicators that you can use to simulate a trailing drawdown on a regular sim account. I didn't want to do that. I mean, I've paid a lot of money over the years on indicators, courses. I have a lifetime license with NinjaTrader. I can do $130 a month to have a couple of accounts and make sure that I have a fresh account every week. Because while I was developing my strategy, there were times where like I was bombing that eval in the first week. I'm like, okay, well, this ain't the strategy for me, you know? But I'm a firm believer in, if you have a strategy and it's a sound strategy, you know, you should be able to last with it, right? And I also believe that you should take every valid setup in whatever timed session that you have, because that's the only way to really know what your edge is going to be. I'm trying to figure out if I want to get into a sale off of this VWAP. Not yet. And actually, I don't now. But yeah, so I just see so many people spending so much money on evals and resets, and you don't have to do that. Even if you just did two accounts and have them renew 2 weeks out from each other, you got 2 weeks to pass or fail it. If you know, and I know some people take a lot longer because they use micros. I'm not using micros, even on a $25,000 account. However, I also don't have super huge stop losses. My stop loss is only 22 ticks. So, you know, for me, on a $25,000 account, I would have to lose about 15 times in a row, 14 times in a row, in order for me to fail the account. If I'm losing that many times in a row, my strategy isn't where it needs to be. Or if I'm having to break even way too often compared to full wins, my strategy is not where I need it to be. So this is the sale I was talking about that I didn't want to get into. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't know if it'll hold, but I wasn't planning on getting into it anyway. The volume was so between here and here, and then here and here, the volume was so iffy. All right, you can't even see the, oh, because I don't have it turned on. Hold on. So I mainly use volume to determine if I'm going to get into trades or not. All right, so yeah, so the volume in like this little square or rectangle was so iffy. That's why I didn't get into that sale there. I also don't want to get into the buy here, even though my overall bias is a buy. The minor trend is a buy. The mid level and the major level are buys. I don't want to get in because there's a double top right here. Yeah, the people who full port evals are crazy. The full porting of evals is this is exactly why people who have been complaining about the 1 day pass rule, they feel like Apex is out to get people, and they're purposely doing this so that people will purposely try to pass it in 1 day. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Are you not in the Discord? Are you not in the Facebook group? People were already doing this. People are already passing in 1, 2, 3 days, and then they would flip a micro the remaining days to get to 7. Anyway, so all Apex did was give people exactly what they wanted. And that was that. I don't see a problem. Because the people who are smart about evals were not going to do that anyway. They weren't. You didn't see me trying to pass in 1 day. I have no reason to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to create that habit. Oh, I don't even think that went all the way. I just deleted that because I am possibly looking to get into a buy now that it came down to my mid level down here. I guess I could draw minor, mid. All right, so I'm actually not going to get into that buy. It pushed too hard. The volume push off of the VWAP was too much. I'll keep the levels here in case y'all want to see them. Does it give? It does not. It's 21.25, 20.25, and 12.25. And my levels are dynamic, they move. At this point, the only way I would look to get into a buy is if it creates some divergence down here around 17,008. And it would have to go below there. This was a really nice outside bar that pushed off of the VWAP though. And I think I mentioned this yesterday. I have so many, I wouldn't say so many different setups. I have about 7 different setups. They're all similar patterns. But I do notice a lot of times that the outside bars work really well depending on what bar type you use and settings and stuff. But especially when there's an outside bar near a VWAP or like a certain level. Oh man, I'm getting a headache. Let's see. So next week, I'm going to have to double the contracts on the first and fifth accounts. Why is this taking so long? Oh, Eastern, okay. Still just waiting. I don't even remember the last time I took a trade. I want to see it push down more in order for me to get back into a buy. That was a pretty big push. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but it hit my rules, so kind of is what it is. It pushed kind of hard off that VWAP though. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. If this thing stops me out to go right to my... I swear. And there's the take profit. It never fails. And I get stopped out by outside bars. Never freaking fails. Yeah, this account is gonna get bombed as soon as I'm done streaming. Hopefully it's easy for me to do, because a couple of months ago when I had to do that, I actually almost ended up passing an account because of it. It was so stupid and I was so pissed. Yes, I am. Where are you going? Okay. Hi. Shut the hell up. It is. All right, I'm looking to get into another buy around. Oh, my head hurts so bad. Around 575. Sometimes I'm right. I'm just a little too early. Okay, and we're gonna cancel that one. Okay, where did all this volume come from? Oh, that's not right. All right, the overall bias is now changed to a downtrend. It did when that big move. Once it got to about here, which is around where the VWAP level is, that's when my overall bias changed to a downtrend. But you can see I got into divergence. The divergence from here to here. All right, my new major level is here. This is the mid level. It's a pretty big pullback. All right, so right now, break even here, -15, -5, -10, and then just commissions. This account was started this week, so it's pretty much just down the commissions from today. Plus another $30 or so. Gosh, my head hurts. This pullback too far for me to get into a sell right now. You can see For this buy, we wicked off of yesterday's high. And I was able to take profit right before it hit the VWAP. Got about an hour left. My head is banging. You can see we pushed off the major level down. Back at the mid VWAP level, the white line is the mid VWAP, and it's the order flow VWAP from the native one in NinjaTrader. All right, let's see, what are we doing here? All right, I am looking for a sale, but once it starts reversing up, I'll need it to come here, which it just did. I pulled back too far for my liking. My mid and major levels are weak, so I'm not going to trade off of them right now. Where was that at? This outside bar. Four, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 20, 16, 17. I swear the last 5 minutes has felt like 30. I hope my headache goes away. So much pressure in my head and neck. Let's see. All right, I've taken 8 trades today, 3 wins, 3 losses, and a break even. It's just all this consolidation between these levels right here. Looks like the mid VWAP is trying to hold it above and possibly push things back up. As much as I like the win-loss ratio that my trades from 10 to 11 give me, aside from the little mishap I had yesterday with that one pattern that I wasn't used to seeing just yet, I don't know if I'm going to continue trading from 10 to 11. It just slows down so much. And I don't know if I want to put up with that an extra 5 hours a week. We'll see though. Especially because I do have to remember that the market, I mean, it's holiday season, so, but man, this can be brutal sometimes. See if we'll push off. What time zone am I trading from? Central. So I trade from 8:30 to 11. I used to only trade from 8:30 to 9:30. And then once I made the tweaks that I made to um, my strategy, not this past weekend, the weekend before, then I was like, I think I should trade a little bit longer because I still have decent trades after 9:30. But for a long time, I only traded the first hour and I just went on about my life. One thing I do not want is to sit on the charts all day because then I might as well just go back to having a job. So, yeah, 8:30 to 11, Monday through Friday. Only times I don't trade is around news. I take breaks. Light and medium impact news, my breaks aren't as long, but whenever there's high impact news like this morning, I stop trading 7 minutes before the news event and then I restart 2 minutes after. So it's about a 9-minute break. But yeah, after 2.5 hours, my brain is smush from either watching paint dry all day or just having to be so accurate, pushing buy and sell buttons and break evens and stuff like that. I don't want to trade for long. I just start to lose concentration after a while. Want to learn my strategy? Maybe at some point in the future. Possibly. But I'm kind of focused on what I'm doing right now. I really like what I'm doing. So I don't want to cloud my judgment with other strategies at this time. Now, possibly in the future, just to add more. But you also have to remember, I trade on Rincos. I only show a 5-second chart, but I actually trade on Rincos. So, and I don't like tick charts. I don't like time-based charts. I literally only like Rincos. So that's another thing. And that's another reason why I don't like most strategies, because I feel like you can see price action the best on Rincos. Just a personal preference. What type of candles do you trade off of? Oh, my head. I should have knew I was going to end up with a headache when I saw it was raining outside. You use a tick chart? I know a lot of people use the 2000 tick or some people like the fib number of 2097. My best friend, he trades off of a 2000 tick chart. I've seen some people trade on 100 tick charts, 150, 500, 1000, 2000, and 2097. I think those are like the popular ones that I see. What is the close of that bar? Oh, it closed right before it. If I can get some divergence happening, like up here somewhere, I'll probably take a sell. And Not there though. Mm-mm. ICT, absolutely not. First of all, for me, if I want to learn a strategy, I want to be able to confidently learn it from whoever created it. I do remember watching a video of his and immediately turning it off because he rages and rants too much, and I can't. I'm a very straight to the point person. I don't like a lot of like small talk or just going in circles. And so to try to learn from somebody who just goes off on a tangent and forgets about everything else for 20 minutes at a time, I can't. And it's not to say that other people can't teach his strategy properly on YouTube or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. However, if I can't learn from the person who created it, I can't. I can't. Yeah, his rages and rants are just too much for me personally. Like I shouldn't have to go and watch a summary video from someone else who takes his content and puts his strategies into the easily digestible forms because he wants to go off on a tangent for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, even when it comes to once I start making my daily or weekly summary videos, it ain't gonna be super long. I have another YouTube channel that I honestly completely abandoned once I became debt free. It was a finance channel. I did budgets and debt free videos and things like that. And I was initially going to turn that into my trading channel, but then I was like, I might still make content over there at some point. So that's why I just created this channel or whatever. But I didn't have super long videos for that very reason. He just is too much for me. But I know a lot of people who trade ICT. One of my newer trading buddies, he trades ICT. Um, but most people who trade ICT has to be on the charts for much longer than I want to be. Like there's a couple of people who stream, and especially in these slower markets for the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, they're streaming all day to have one setup or maybe two setups. I can't. All right, I had to just get out there just because it hit my major level there. Week. That's the risk you take when your entry is so close to a level you have to break even at. But sometimes it powers through it without hitting a break even, so you gotta do it. RSI 12 setting divergence, 1 to 2 risk to reward with an ATR at 2. Okay, I'll look into it. As long as it can work on Rinkos, I'll definitely look into it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna screenshot it, save the picture. Do you use a regular? You don't like the one setup ICT though? The one that I see people talk a lot about that they say that they do like is the I think it's called the silver bullet that happens. I think you look at the chart at a certain hour of the day. I think it's 9:30 maybe central. I don't remember. I looked over it and I just personally wasn't a big fan. Like I said, anything where I just it's too many variables. I'm a overthinker and I'm super analytical. So anything that I have to think too much, I'm gonna think my way out of the trade every single time, and I'll just be sitting here not taking trades at all. Oh, one setup per day. Yeah, I like I said, I have a couple of trading buddies that love ICT, and I do follow what is her name? Hannah. Is it Hannah Forex? Yeah, I wanted to say Hannah Trades, but I do follow Hannah Forex, and I know she loves ICT. Um, yeah, a lot of people do. But even one of my trading buddies that we it's so crazy. We became cool in the Discord after going back and forth at each other. But he's really cool. And he started learning how to scalp on Rincos for the very reason of he was tired of waiting all day sitting on his hands for one or two setups a day. So it just depends on the type of trader that you are. This is the other thing. Like I used to back in the day when I was trading Forex, I used to multi day swing. So I was more of a long term swing trader. And I stopped that because there was a time where I was in a GBP NZD trade. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in a buy, and that trade came because I think at that time I didn't move my stop loss at any point. It was an all or nothing type of thing, especially because at the time, and I don't know if you can do this now on MT4, but you couldn't move the trail and stop, have a trail and stop basically, at least, or I didn't know how to do it back then. So I'm in this trade for 2 weeks. First of all, in the first week, it came like 10 pips from hitting my take profit, but I didn't have a super huge like stop loss anyway. So I'm like, all right, came 10 pips from hitting it, 5 to 10 pips. And at the end of that second week, it hit my stop loss. I said, okay, I'm not a multi-week swing trader. Let me not say swinger. So then earlier this year, and I have screenshots from like 4 years ago that pop up in my Facebook memories all the time of all of these amazing trades that I was taking. I think back then I was taking like trend line breaks or something like that. I don't know. I have a bunch of notebooks like just full of information, different strategies I've created, tried from other people, everything. So earlier this year, I was more intraday swinging. Okay. And I was kind of cool with that for a while. But then there were times where, again, I would come close to, hitting my take profit and then it hits my break even or whatever. And that just was annoying. So eventually I'm like, okay, my goal has always been to be a scalper anyway. Okay. I've always wanted to be a scalper. So once I started getting screwed on the intraday swings, I was like, all right, that's it. I'm going to focus on figuring out how to scalp. I want to get in and out of the market faster than the market can move against me. That's just what I wanted to do. I don't want to be in a trade for 2 hours just for it to come close to my take profit and then boom, I'm stopped out. What was the purpose? Especially when in that entire move, I could have scalped like 4 times and been done with it. So that's kind of why I've gotten to the point that I'm at now just from, I wouldn't even say bad experiences, just experience. I know what I like and don't like, but that comes from chart time. I think too many people are trying to master this at a fast pace. just forgetting that it takes a lot of chart time between active trading, back testing. That's just what it takes. And for me, if I spent 4 years becoming a nurse, to have a nursing career for 11 years that I'm not the biggest fan of, I can take time to learn this and master it in my own way. That setting is good. Divergence for spotting reversals in the pattern worked for me. Yeah, I'm going to backtest it this weekend. I'm going to look at it. I will definitely look at it. I used to trade with the RSI. I probably took it off of my charts. Maybe like 3 months ago. Probably not even that long ago. Because I think at one point I was doing RSI divergence. I'm not a fan of MACD divergence, just a personal thing. But I think I was doing RSI divergence, and then at one point I was doing another type of divergence as well. Give me a, I want to get into this sell, but I need the double top to go away because there's a double bottom down here. And I don't like trading when a double bottom and double top are like sequential. All right. Oh, and as soon as I get off the stream, I am taking some ibuprofen and taking a nap probably. My head is banging. Delta footprint are in balance. The biggest thing with the footprint charts and the delta imbalance is I have to go back to a chart, a bar type that I don't want to trade. The only way for me to be able to look at that on Rinkos is to purchase an indicator, I think from Ninja. I think Ninja's order flow or a footprint order flow indicator does allow you to see imbalance in delta inside of wrinkle bars. And I don't want to pay for another indicator. I promise you, I just love Rinkos. Everything just looks so much smoother on Rinkos to me. Like if I can... So this is the wrinkle chart that I'm using at the time. And the reason why I don't put it on the screen is because I'm not all the way sure if I want to keep this particular setting. But price just looks so much smoother on Rinkos. Nobody can argue that. You can see consolidation a lot faster and everything. You can clearly see the higher lows and lower highs and all of that. If I decide to keep this particular Rinkos setting, I will start putting the Rinkos on the chart that can be seen. Because it's not like I'm trying to gatekeep or anything. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of people who trade Rinkos, just not online for whatever reason. Like if you YouTube search Rinko strategy, most people, you're not going to find a lot of information. And there's different Rinko types, but I just prefer Rinkos. If we push down to like 375, I'm going to take the sell. And as long as my exit parameters don't show up, I'll stay in it. I'm really just ready for the holiday season to be over so the volatility can return. I'm gonna stay in this one. We'll see what happens. And we got a TP. That was divergence there. I think I want to take a buy right here. Be a double bottom start. Yeah, I don't want to take a buy right here. The buy entry would be at 125, but I don't feel comfortable taking that one just because it started with a double bottom. This is where the accounts are at now. Just gotta push through 25 more minutes. My head is hurting so bad. And this is gonna be the headache that starts to change my vision. That's why I just want to get this session over with. There's the buy I didn't want to take. And that would have hit my stop loss. Good call. There was a double bottom to a higher low to a higher, a double bottom to a higher high to a higher low. And that's why I didn't take it. I don't like the double bottom or double top starts or ends if I'm trading near my minor level, which I was. The minor level was here, so my entry would have been right above it. Excuse me. You're in at 994.50 for what, a buy or sell? Oh, my head. You're in for the buy. Where's your stop loss at? She said 94.99450. It's pushing down from my major level, but it's no telling how far it will go. How many trades have you taken today? It looked like it wicked. It wicked off my major level right there. Now we're at the mid VWAP level, so I highly doubt it's going to move enough in the next 20 minutes for me to take another trade. We'll see. I'm okay with stopping here, honestly. If this is where my P&L stops for the day, I would be more than happy with that. Let's do something. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. My minor and major trends are sales. The mid trend is still a buy for now till that flips. I don't really trade very much near the mid VWAP level though, since that's kind of the level where everything is kind of determined. I'll trade near the deviation levels, but not much here. It got back to your entry. I'm not sure where your stop loss was though. I need to give me a second. It's not what I wanted to do. That's better. Come on, what are you gonna do? Anytime all my levels get close to each other, it just starts consolidating so heavy. Major, mid, minor, and VWAP. So the consolidation zone looks like that. Your stop loss was 980. Did you get out at break even when it came back up? Or are you still in? So, what did you say it was? 94.50. Stop loss of 980. Got a little bit of wiggle room left. Just creating a double bottom here near the mid VWAP line. That might help to push it back up. And you said you do a 1 to 2, right? Yeah, 1 to 2. It sort of look like that. Okay. I'm assuming with a stop loss that large that you trade micros, or are you trading minis and trading a larger account? It's pushing off that double bottom down here. Yeah, you do micros. How many do you do at a time? I saw somebody in the Discord yesterday. I think they traded 100 micros across 20 accounts each, failed the accounts, and blamed Apex. First of all, I don't. Max 16. The only time I understand why people trade micros, besides people who just, have a lower risk to reward, there are some people who trade micros and their only goal is to make like $50 a day. Got you. But when I see people who trade using like 30 micros and they're not the people who like add into positions, like they're just trading it off the rip, I'm like, why don't you just trade 3 minis? I'm confused. Because the commissions on trading that many micro, first of all, to trade 100 micros just sounds crazy. I don't even know if he was filled across all of them. I kind of missed the drama in the Discord yesterday. Soon as I got off of the charts, I back tested a little bit and then I ran errands with my grandma for a while. And by the time I came back, I just didn't want to be bothered by the Discord, honestly. So I didn't go in there until like 9 o'clock at night. So I was kind of like catching up. But 100 micros is just insane. It's insane, and I don't understand the purpose at all. At all. This level is definitely trying to hold That VWAP is trying to hold and possibly push the market back up. I've been in the downtrend bias since 10 o'clock when the market did that dump. But it was an overall uptrend bias up until 10 o'clock. But all this consolidation at the VWAP is exactly why I don't trade near it. There's only a few of my setups that I'll even take trades near the VWAP, near the midline, or like if it bounces off of it, I'll take a trade going back towards it. Only a couple of my setups though. And right now it's just dancing too much around it for my liking. We got 9 minutes left. I believe that account's back positive. Just going through my trade journal to see where my account started at the beginning of the week. So all of them are slightly positive. Yesterday just kind of screwed me. Wednesday was a break-even day minus commissions. Then yesterday's losses were just ugh. But the good thing is, I think it was after Tuesday is when I discovered I had a setup that paints a couple of times a day that I can win pretty easily. Like the last trade I took, this one, I just added this particular setup. I think, was it Wednesday was the first day? Let's see. And it sets up all the time. Actually, I added it yesterday. Yeah, I added it yesterday. So I did all the back testing for it on Wednesday, traded it yesterday, and 2 of my 3 wins yesterday was that particular setup. And it sets up every single day. Pretty high win rate because I'm taking divergence in the direction of the overall trend. I do divergence, counter trend, and with the trend. And even my counter trend divergence is pretty accurate as well. Sometimes I want to get rid of all my setups, but that but I do still like trade and trend continuation strategies too. But I love divergence. And it's crazy because divergence is one of the first strategies I learned 9 years ago. Nope, you didn't lose it. You're still being held up by this VWAP. This VWAP is saving you. It came down a couple of times and went right back above it. And I see right here, we got right back to your entry. Is this thing? Oh, it is. Okay. What was that at 10:49? I was. Why is. Oh, because it moved some more. I forgot I scrolled back. I'm like, why can't I see the crosshair? Yeah, it got back to your entry right here. What hours do you trade, Hefe? Yeah, so all of my accounts are back above where they started at the beginning of the week. So I'm excited about that. That makes me happy. Even this account that I'm about to blow right after this. We getting a decent push. Back to your entry. Created 2 double bottoms in a row. Eastern. But what time? Like, do you trade 8:30 to a certain time? Do you start at 9? What hours do you trade? Got 5 minutes left. I pretty much called at what, 10:35, around 10:40 that I probably wasn't going to get any more trades in, and I was right. It's creating another double top here though, which this will be the first double top in this consolidation. $8.30 to 1. Yeah, earlier this year I would trade like 8:30 to 10 o'clock Central, and then I would get back on the charts from I think 1 to 3. Then at one point I was starting to get back on from 12 to 3, and then it was 12 to 2, and then it was 12 to 1, and then it was, you know what? I don't want to trade in the afternoon. I don't want to have a lunch break and come back. I do know that there's pretty decent volatility in the afternoon sometimes, but most of my best setups is going to be in the morning. And then for me, if I can just make all the money that I can make in that first 2.5 hours and go live my life for the rest of the day, perfect for me. That has been my ultimate goal. Could definitely tell the volume is not as high as it was yesterday. Because by the time I got off around this time yesterday, we had almost 100,000 more volume in the market. Right now, it's kind of ending where it's been ending for the last couple of weeks with the low volatility. I'm hungry, and I think I'm going to go to Firehouse Subs because I heard today if your first name starts with a K, you get a free sub, a free medium sub if you purchase a medium or large sub. And my first name starts with a K, so that's the only sub place that I like to eat at. I have not eaten. I think I've had like Penn Station a couple of times, but I don't like Quiznos. I don't like Jimmy John's, and I definitely do not like. I haven't eaten Subway in over 10 years. Ever since I tried Firehouse Subs, I do not go to any other sub place. I probably had Penn Station twice in the last 10 years. So I think I'm going to go get that for lunch. Ask my grandma if she wants the free sub and go on about my day. I don't feel like there's any back testing I need to do. I feel good about my strategy at this point. I've had to do back testing a couple of times this week, and that was only because I noticed, like, sometimes when you're just looking at the charts all the time, you notice certain patterns and you kind of keep it in the back of your head, like, okay, if I see that set up a couple of more times like that, I'm gonna have to go look, and back test that particular thing. So that's what I did a couple of times this week. So happy I back tested the one Wednesday that led to, I don't think it lost at all this week at all. So that's good. Not a lot of break evens from that particular setup. They were majority full wins. And my session is done. Finito. I'm probably going to keep my charts open because I want to see what's going to end up happening with your divergence trade, though. I'm real curious to see, especially with how this VWAP is trying to hold it up. But good luck to you for the rest of your session. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks for your suggestion with the RSI, because I'm definitely going to look at that. Definitely. Anything that can enhance what I'm already doing without completely taking away from what I'm doing, I'm all for. So the summary for today, total P&L is $336 in profit. After commissions, there was about $199 in commissions today total for the week. And I'll do a separate video starting next week. I'll do separate videos for this, but for now, this is what you get. So all of these accounts are higher than the starting balance for this week. I actually was positive Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday was just like negative $35 per account due to commissions. It was a break-even day. Yesterday, I was down $300 per account, and then today got about $100 per account. I mean, this one was double just because of how I doubled it on the trade copier, but I'm pretty happy with this week's performance. I'm overall positive for the week, so that makes me happy. I feel like I'm moving in the direction that I want to be. I started trading this way last Wednesday, and between last Wednesday and today, I'm up about $1,300 across the accounts. Most of that was with 3 accounts because I just added the 4th account this week. So it looks like my overall win percentage since last Wednesday is about 56%. It should be much higher, but I've added some setups, I've filtered out some things, and that's okay for me. With long trades, I actually was positive $2,500. It's the short trades. It is the shorts, which I'm not surprised about. And that's just kind of where we're at. So I'll definitely be back next week to go live every morning that the market is open. And then next week I'll start doing the daily and weekly recaps. They will not be long because, again, I'm short, sweet, and to the point. I'll show the setups and kind of leave it at that. So thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this video in the future, thanks for your support. And I will see you guys next week. And Hefe, good luck on your trade. And yes, let's see if you hit the target, it's going to be a Merry Christmas. I hope you hit the target. I hope you hit the target regardless. Like I said, I'm going to keep this the chart open because I want to see how this plays out. But thanks for tuning in and good luck for the rest of your session. I'll see you next week.